श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति शांति शांति. So from today we are going to start this beautiful text called vijñānabhairavataṃtra. vijñānabhairavataṃtra. vijñānabhairavataṃtra, 3 words. This text is a text which I should have done 25 years ago. I had a plan of doing this text after seeing some stupid translations for this book. People who don't even have a ABC understanding of Shaiva Siddhanta or Dhyana, they have written books. So, to make it right, I wanted to write a book. But good thing is I didn't write it then, because now you have the opportunity of listening and seeing this. Otherwise, it would have been just a book. Now, this vijñānabhairavataṃtra, we'll understand each word. Vijñānabhairavataṃtra is a text which comes under another tantra text called Rudra Yamala Tantra. Rudra Yamala Tantra. Rudra Yamala Tantra. 3 words. Rudra Yamala Tantra. Rudra Yamala Tantra is a text which is almost lost. Like many parts of shakas of Vedas, branches of Vedas are lost. Rudra Yamala Tantra is also lost. A portion of it is published by Chaukamba with a Hindi commentary, if I'm right, in 2 parts. It's called Purva Bhaga, Rudrayamala Tantra Purva Bhaga. Okay, the first part, probably Uttara Bhaga. There is another part which they didn't have. So, Rudrayamala Tantra, it's a beautiful text where people practice Kundalini Yoga, etc., the 6 chakra meditation and all that, without understanding what it is. So they just think that this is in that color, that is in this color, it has this many petals, and that's all. But the methodology to do that Kundalini Yoga is explained in detail in that Rudrayamala Purva Bhaga. How you should be seated, how you should have to meditate on that, what is the deities there, deity with its consort, okay, the Shiva and Parvati, what is the name of Shiva and Parvati there in that chakra, and how to do puja for that, what is the mandala or what is the yantra there you have to meditate upon, and what is the Sahasranama you have to chant. Everything is explained there. Okay. Now, that is a different thing. We are not interested in that. No. Rudra Yamala Tantra. Tantra, we have to understand this word. Whether you call it Agama or Tantra does not really matter. They are both same. Rudra Yamala Tantra or Rudra Yamala Agama, you call it, doesn't really matter. You'll understand that later. So, this comes under, when people explain this, they'll say, this comes under the Agama text of Kashmira Shaiva Siddhanta. This is another stupidity. It's all laden with so many of these misunderstandings, misrepresentation, misinterpretations. We have to understand all that. There is another statement, like there is a recent statement an actor made, that Kannada, a language in Karnataka, spoken in Karnataka, came from Tamil, the language spoken in Tamil Nadu. There is a great hallelujah. There is no need for those kind of stuff. Because if you say, then there can be counter and pro and con arguments. Like the God for Tamil is Lord Kartikeya, Muruga, Lord Kartikeya. Okay. And Kannada derives much of its words from Sanskrit. It has Sanskrit base also. Now they worship Shiva. In Karnataka, there is a group called Veerashaivites. There is a tradition called Lingayites and Veerashaivites. Now they worship Shiva. Shiva is the father of your Kartikeya. So they are speaking the father's language. You are only speaking the child's language. There can be logic like that. To counter that again, we can say, oh, the son Kartikeya did Upadesha to Shiva. There is a story like that. So it can go on and on. Like that, when you say Kashmir Shaiva Siddhanta, from that came the Shaiva Siddhanta of South, it's absurd. Let me explain. Shiva, after creating it, he didn't separate this area and say, okay, I'm going to teach you this secret. Agama is something which is given to one and all. That is the idea of Shiva. Agama, the word itself denotes Shiva Mukhat Agatam Devi Karne Gatam iti Agama. Shiva Mukhat Agatam okay, Agatam Devi Karne Gatam Agama. That is the simple understanding we can have. Agama means that. So it came from the lips of Shiva and it entered the ears of Devi. Now, when he says this, he is not going to separate a group of people and say, okay, only for you, not for them. No, you people don't listen. He created the whole universe and it is common for everyone. Okay, this is the first logic. The second logic is, if you see in North, the temples in North, they don't follow Agama Vidhi. There is no Agamas followed in the North temple, whether it is Kashi or it is Kedarnath. That's not really matter. They don't follow the Agama Vidhis. They are basically following Vaidika Vidhi. But in Tamil Nadu, you can see many temples, almost all the Shiva temples follow the Agama Vidhi. This temple structure, architecture is based on the Agama. The temple puja is based on the Agama. And over and above that, there is a speciality in this. Not one temple Agama is followed by another temple. Like if you say, take Madurai, the Agama followed by Madurai temple priest is not the same Agama followed by probably the Tanjavur temple priest or the Chidambaram temple priest or the Tirunamali temple priest. They follow different Agamas, different schools of Agamas. One will say Rudrayamala Tantra, the other will say Bhairavatantra, the other will say some other Tantra, Netra Tantra, Kaula Tantra, Kraut. There are so many things. So they follow different Agamas to do the puja, etc. So this establishes that it has not come from this and that. Oh, but still, see, there is another thing. When you say Shaiva, it normally denotes the Kashmir Shaiva Siddhanta. When you say Siddhanta, it normally denotes the South Indian Shaiva Siddhanta. Okay, Shaiva Siddhanta means Shaiva philosophy. The followers of Shiva, their philosophy is Shaiva Siddhanta. Shaiva means followers of Shiva. Siddhanta means a conclusion, means philosophy. Now, Shaiva they took and Siddhanta these fellows took. So they separated. You add adjective Kashmir or South Indian, then there is a difference. No. There is a difference, huge difference. What is the difference? In Kashmir Shaiva Siddhanta, okay, say Shaiva Siddhanta, okay, Kashmir Shaiva Siddhanta, what is that? The difference is they follow Shiva Dvaita. Shiva Advaita. They accept the non-duality as Shiva. Okay. And in South, they accept duality, Shiva Dvaita. That is also not right. We explained this in the text called Shiva Purana. Shiva Purana means it is not the story of Shiva like Bhagavata Purana, etc. That is not the text we are talking about. Shiva Purana is the text which is a text written by Manikavachaka, a great saint called Manikavachaka. He, in his Shiva Purana, the text, in his every text, that is the common idea, the common theme is Shiva Dvaita. He establishes non-duality with Shiva. So that is the idea in both there and here. A duality part, even there the agamas, they follow the dualities, the puja, etc. What is that? Without duality, where can there be puja, etc.? Right? So the idea is common. Shiva Dvaita is common in both. We can understand like that. We don't have to confuse with all this. Okay. Now, Rudra Yamala Tantra. The word Tantra. Tantra, Yoga, Dhyana, these words are, there is a word in Tamil, not Tamil, South India, in Tamil Nadu we use this word. Govinda. Govinda, you know, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. Govinda. When you say, what happened? Govinda, Govinda. When you say that, he is not praying to Lord Govinda. When you go to Govinda, the Vishnu temple, you will say, Govinda, Govinda. But here, when you ask someone what happened to that, Govinda means it is lost, it's gone. Or another word in Tamil Nadu, which is oft you repeated, which is a Sanskrit word, Aghora. So, how was that boy or that girl? Aghoram. Aghoram. With shrinking your face and all that, you show how ugly that person was or how that situation was. Aghoram. Actually, the term Aghora, like the term Govinda, relates to God. There is nothing to pull your leg there, to denounce you. Similarly, the word Aghora, na ghoramiti aghoram. Ghora means ugly. Aghora means not ugly, but people use it to say it is ugly. Aghora is a word which is misrepresented as ugly. Similarly, this word Tantra, Yoga, Dhyana, etc. also. We'll come to that later. First, Tantra. Tantra, when you say, now you are studying Tantra text. Okay. Now you can say, what are you studying? Tantra. There will be three kinds of reactions. When you say Tantra, then if a person is following the tradition, scriptures, then he will see you with disgust. Kind of. Because this word Tantra is westernized, and when I say westernized, I mean they have made it such a disgusting word, like Govinda, like Aghora. Tantra, it has become a very bad word. So either you will fail, you will face disgust. Okay, or the second reaction is, I'm studying Tantra. Tantra? Fear. Person will be afraid of you if you say you are studying Tantra. Why? I'll tell you. See, when I was in Rishikesh, I went to the Swami. So there was this person. His name is Rudra something. Rudra, I think. He's no more. He was there, sitting there in that Swami's room. So I was talking to the Swami, and we were trying to converse, and this fellow interjected in between again and again. I said, I didn't come to talk to you. I came to talk to him. We have some business. Why don't you keep quiet? I told, okay, this fellow is not going to stop. I'll come tomorrow. We'll speak when he's not there. I went away. Next day, when I entered the Swami's room, he was like, Swamiji, why did you do like that? I said, what? You spoke to him without any fear. Why should I be afraid of him? He knows Tantra. I said, okay, let him do his prayoga. Let him do his application, apply his tantra logic on me. Let us see what happens to me. I'm not afraid of that. Tantra induces fear. When you say tantra, I'm studying tantra, it induces fear. Or a third very interesting thing. Tantra. When you say tantra, means act. Meaning you will not understand. Because no one understands tantra. It's an esoteric idea. So no one can understand. So that is the idea. There is a story like this. Yesterday I heard this story. It's a very interesting story for this third part. There is this famous person. I'm not taking his profession and all. Just say famous person, not name, no profession. Famous person. His grandfather was a kind of sadhu, not a initiated monk or something, but he lived a very saintly life, simple life. Simple life. Let us not put saintly life. Simple life. Okay. Now, this famous person is talking to another person and saying, "Hey, you should have to study this vijñānabhairavataṃtra. Superb text this. You don't have to study anything else other than that." Okay. So the other person, he heard it and he, with respect, he went and studied that for 3 years and all that. That is a different story. The two other people who are listening to this conversation, among them, one asked, "Oh, this fellow seems to be such a expert in all those subjects also. I thought he has expertise only in this field." The next one, he said, "Who knows this person and his father and his grandfather also?" He said, "Oh, don't ask me about that." "Why? What happened?" "This fellow is like his grandfather. Meaning he also knows. Whatever they don't understand, they tell to others to study." So, Tantra, if you say, "Oh, this fellow will not understand it, he is wasting his time," kind of. So, Tantra induces disgust, fear, or ignorance. Like, you will not understand. So, none of this is right. Tantra, what is the meaning of Tantra, the word Tantra? Whether you call it Tantra or Agama, they are both same. They are synonyms. You have to understand that first. Tantra comes from the root word Tanu Vistare. Why I am talking about the root word is, based on this root word, Tanu Vistare, Vistare means expansion. Based on this root word, these idiots will explain it as the Jivatma expands to become the Paramatma. Beautiful. They'll use all those beautiful words and voices and modulations and all that to bluff to you. That is not the case here. Tanu Vistare, expansion does not mean expansion of the self, but expansion of your intellect. Your mind, your intellect is not, it is very limited. It does not have the clarity of what is Jiva and what is self, what is the Paramatma, what is Shiva. So, to give you that knowledge, by giving you that knowledge, it is expanding your intellect. Or, like mantra, the word mantra, when we explain, we say, the etymology will say, Mananat Trananat Mantra. By repeating manana, by thinking about it, repeating it, Tranana, it protects. Therefore, it is called as mantra. That which through repetition protects you is called as mantra. Similarly, Tantra, the word, Tanute Trayate iti Tantra. Tanute, it gives you an expansion of your heart or mind, and Trayate, and protects you. Therefore, it is called as Tantra. In Kerala, if you see, the priest is called as Tantri. Normally, priest is called as Pujari, Pandit in other places. But in Kerala, he is called as Tantri. The reason for calling him Tantri is a person who knows mantra, the sacred chants, is called as Tantri. Okay. And the person who knows Tantra techniques is called as Mantri, minister. Mantri is minister. Tantra means techniques. Tantra can also mean technique. Okay. Tantra can mean expansion. Tantra can mean technique. Tantra can also mean, this third is important. Apart from expansion and technique, Tantra can also means Siddhanta, philosophy. Can also mean philosophy, Siddhanta, conclusion of philosophy. Sarva Tantra Siddhanta, that which is accepted by all the philosophies. Sarva Tantra, all philosophies. Sarva Tantra Swatantra, he is independent of all the schools, philosophy or school. Any meaning, this meaning also is possible. Okay. Here we accept it as a Siddhanta. Actually, in real sense, Shaiva Siddhanta, the Shaiva school, which these texts are based on, does not interpret the word Tantra. Does not interpret the word Tantra. Tantra means Tantra, over. There's no question there. Okay. But this is the meaning of Tantra. Tantra can mean expansion. Tantra can mean that which protects you by expanding your intellect. Tantra can also mean the philosophy. Okay. Now, we are talking about Rudra Yamala Tantra. Among different tantras, Rudra Yamala Tantra is one Agama text. Why we are talking about this? Because Vijñānabhairava falls under this Rudra Yamala Tantra, and it is the essence of Rudra Yamala Tantra. Rudra Yamala Tantra Sara. That is how it is said here. Vijñānabhairava is explained as a Rudra Yamala Tantra Sara. The essence of the Rudra Yamala Tantra. The Rudra Yamala Tantra, like many branches of Vedas as well, is lost. Only the first portion, a portion of it is preserved or available. That's the only thing which we see as a printed book. Okay, which discusses about the Kundalini Yoga. Anyway, Rudra Yamala Tantra, we understood what it is. Rudra Yamala. What is Rudra? In Vedic school, if you are going to see Veda, the Veda explains the word Rudra as Ruroda Sarudra, one who cried. Ruroda, one who cried is Rudra. Therefore, he is called as Rudra. Sarodit Tad Rudrasya Rudratam, that is how it is said there. He cried, therefore, that is why he is called as Rudra. But here, that is not the case. Rudra means Rudam Rugnam va Dravayati iti Rudra. Rudam means crying. Rugnam means disease. Okay, crying. Why will you cry? Because you are in pain. Why are you in pain? Because there is some reason. Why is the cause or reason here? The causation here. Because it's in creation. What is creation? Samsara. Okay, so the crying is caused by samsara. Okay. Second, Rugnam. Rugnam means disease. What can be worse disease other than samsara? Samsara is the biggest disease. So either crying or samsara disease. We are both referred to samsara. So Dravayati means destroys. One who destroys your cry or the cause for cry or the disease is called as Rudra. Okay. Now, Yamala, another important word like Tantra, this is another important word which is misinterpreted always. When you say when you see a yoga book interpreting yoga as union, just throw it away and wash your hands. That is not right interpretation. Similarly, when you see Yamala as interpreted as union, that is also not a right book. Yamala means a couple, twins, two. What does that mean here? it is explained as Shivayoho or Shivashaktiyoho. Shivashaktiyoho Samarasyam Ekarasyam. The union of Shiva and Shakti, that is what people will explain it as. And in Kundalini Yoga also, the base chakra, Mooladhara, the Shakti is separated from Shiva, who is in the Brahmarandra, the crown chakra, they say. So you have to take the Devi and lead her to union with Shiva. That is what they teach. That is not what Shaiva Siddhanta teaches. The Shaiva philosophy teaches, especially this Kashmiri Shaiva Siddhanta does not teach that. This Agama does not teach that. Agama says Shiva and Shakti are not separate entities. The Shiva's power is Shakti. Shakti means power. Shiva's power is what is called as Shakti. In this case, Bhairavi. Bhairava is a Shiva and Bhairavi is a Shakti. That is why you will not see Shiva Uvacha, Shakti Uvacha or Devi Uvacha. No. You will see Bhairava Uvacha and Bhairavi Uvacha. Bhairava said and Bhairavi said. So there is no union of Bhairavi with Bhairava because they were never separate. This is the logic which we say with through Shakti Mator Abheda. The power and the one which has the power are not different. Like the fire and the light or the heat is not different. Fire is heat and light. Heat and light is fire. Similarly here, the goddess and the god, the Bhairava and Bhairavi are not different. They are one and the same. How can there be dialogue between them? Discussion between them? Oh, that is a kind of a imagined duality. Not split personality. It's an imagined duality. Why should he imagine duality? For blessing us with this knowledge. That is what is the purpose of this teaching. For the Shiva to bless us with the knowledge. We will come to that later. Now, that is the idea. Okay. So, there is no union of Yamala does not mean union of both Shiva and Shakti. Yamala means the identity of Shiva and Shakti. Understanding the Shiva and Shakti to be identical. Rudra means one who destroys our cry or our disease. Yamala means the identity, and Tantra means Agama, Tanu Vistare or Tanute Trayate or philosophy, simply put. So a philosophy that teaches you the identity of the destroyer, the slayer of samsara. That's the idea. Okay, now this Tantra or Agama, whichever way you call it, is not different. Tantra, we understood what it is. Agama means we explained Agama, Agama. It comes from Shiva, it enters the ears of Shakti. That is why it is called as Agama. Okay. Now, here again, what is Agama and what is a What is Agama and what is a Tantra? Agama, when you say, different Agamas, there are multiple Agamas. So, Agama, basically when you say, they are classified into 4 parts. That which has these 4 parts is called as Agama. First is Kriya, activity. Then second is Charya, your practices. Then third one is Vidya, the knowledge portion. The fourth one is Yoga. Yoga is Yoga. We'll keep that like Yoga. Because that is one misinterpreted, misrepresented word. Okay, we'll come to that later. Now, when you say Agama, it should have to have Kriya, Charya, Vidya and Yoga. When you say Tantra, it should have to have 6 parts. Mantra, then Yantra. Mantra means the sacred chants. Yantra means mandala, etc. The different diagrams in which you invite the different deities in different places. That is yantra, pictorial representation. No, it can also be a form. Then you have the mantra, yantra, then mudra, the gestures. It's not just the gestures through fingers, the bodily gesture, how you sit and how you present yourself. Each one is gesture. See, doing this when you go to Delhi, when you are in Delhi airport, you can see the different gestures. This, etc. All this. So it is not just only through fingers. Chin mudra. This is one mudra called chin mudra. We know this. There are multiple mudras like that. Not with one hand, with two hands. Many mudras. Not just with the hands, with the palms. It is also with fingers or the hands crisscross, etc. Different kinds of mudras are there. Okay, your bodily positioning is called as mudra. Then asana, seating posture. The seating posture is called as asana. Then you have diksha, initiation. Then finally you have yoga. In agama, you have a kriya, charya, vidya, and yoga. In tantra, you have mantra, yantra, mudra. Then you have a asana, diksha, and yoga. Okay, kriya, the activities that you have mantra, yantra, and mudra. These come under the classification of kriya of agama. Okay, then the fourth one, asana, comes under the charya. Fifth one, the diksha, comes under the classification of vidya of agama. And the sixth one, yoga, comes under the fourth classification of agama, yoga. Yoga and yoga come. Yoga. What is yoga? See, there is a misunderstanding of people whether the yoga and tantra, where and when and how they got merged. They didn't get merged. In fact, the yoga which you see today is a byproduct of agamas, tantras. This is the yoga. When people say we are teaching Patanjali yoga, Patanjali does not teach you yoga. Patanjali simply says asana, sukham sthiram asanam, peacefully, sitting peacefully is what is called as asana, posture. Over. Gone. In the commentary, he may give different names for asana, not even explanation of what that asana is. Different names for the asana. If you want to understand what that name represents, what is the posture for that name, you have to go to Shiva Samhita, etc. Again, Samhita is a word which is synonym with Agama and Tantra. So you have to go to the text called Shiva Samhita, etc. for understanding, here under Samhita, Shiva Samhita, etc. for understanding what that name of that posture is. What that name for the posture denotes. Okay, that is, you have to enter another text. So when they say we teach Patanjali yoga, that's a bluff. When they teach you dhyana, that's a bluff, because they don't know what dhyana is. So yoga here and the yoga of Patanjali, there is a slight difference. The yoga of Patanjali is Ashtanga yoga, yoga of 8 limbs. And yoga here is a Shadanga yoga, yoga of 6 limbs. That's the difference. The 5th limb here is different from the 7th limb there. That's a different thing. That's okay. It's similar. We'll understand it like that. So the yoga of 6 limbs is in Agama, whereas in Yoga Sutra, there are yoga of 8 limbs. What are the 2 limbs which are missing? Yama and Niyama. Yama and Niyama are the 2 limbs which are missing in this yoga. So therefore, you should not jump to conclusion, because there are some idiots who jump to that conclusion. You don't have to have yama or niyama for practicing this. Yama or niyama means the control over your body or control your sense organs. You don't have to have all that. You can just practice this. Whoever practices this will gain that awareness, consciousness state, all the stupidity. No, it is impossible. You have to have the yama and niyama. That is where your kriya and charya comes. Kriya and charya are to bring your body, sense organs under control. Okay? And another important thing is, another important thing is, the yoga which we see here is, yoga is not to understand your mind. Yoga here is to decimate your mind, to destroy your mind, to gain the state of no mind. That is what this yoga is for. Okay, so the idea of yoga being whatever that is not represented here. Yoga chittavritti, no, that is what is the sutra here. That. So anyway, that is a different thing. So yoga here means includes the yama and niyama even without saying. How can you be so clear? Sure. Because at the end of this very text, it is very clearly established that for a person who does not have the prerequisites, does not have the qualifications, this text should not be given. This text should not be given to him. And you should have to even protect it even by giving up your prana. Pranopi tyaktva. Even by giving up your prana, you have to protect this text, this knowledge. That is what is said here in the end. So, therefore, yoga here is also 8-limbed without specifying the yama and niyama, because that is coming under a different classification of kriya and charya. Okay, so yoga of 8 limbs, which Patanjali speaks, is based on this text, Agama text. Okay, we'll come to this later. Om Purnamadaഃ Purnamidam Purnāt Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.